Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone. Another weekend. Excited here with Hery. And this is the third weekend of the third Global Empowerment Summit. I'm really excited about this one. And Hery is here already in the studio. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Hery. How are you today?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you, Andrea. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of
Uh,
course. Thank you for
uh,
coming and joining us.
yeah. By training, I'm a psychiatric nurse. I'm in UK trained, and for the most part of my career, I worked in the hospital and the community settings in mental health, mostly in the UK. And a few years ago, I decided to take early retirement and move to Malaysia. And then briefly, I was in Singapore again working for an NGO that provide mental health services to the public. And so now I am a corporate trainer in mental health. Surprise, surprise. uh, focusing at the workplace. Yeah. So I do I promote, I'm an advocate, and I provide training to employers on the issue of mental health.
Thank you so
That's
much. And I can hear some birds in the background, right?
Yeah, I live. Sorry about that. I can't help that. I live near a kampong in Malaysia. Uh, I'm Singaporean, but I live in Malaysia by choice. So this is what you get in Malaysia. Isn't
I
it
love
beautiful?
it. I love it. It
It's
reminds me of
beautiful.
Hungary and my countryside and all the roosters in the morning. So it's just beautiful.
Excellent stuff. I've been to, yeah, this is good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Hmm.
sharing. And for the audience who is already watching us, hi, Afzan. Hi, Jack. Nice to see you already here so early in the morning. And we are happy to have you here. This will be the third weekend. As I told you, all the weekend will be about leadership and community building. So every discussions, every interviews and panel discussions will explore these topics. And we have an exciting quiz night networking also on Sunday. So don't forget to tune in. And here we are with the Roosters, starting the day with Hery. And let's explore your topic. So, mental health at the workplace.
Hmm.
Before we start, I like to start with the definition. So, what is mental health and why is it so important? And then we go to the workplace, right?
Yeah, that's a good question, Andrea. According to the World Health Organization, mental health is a person's ability to deal with the normal challenges of life, the usual life stresses, to be able to work productively and to contribute to his or her community. That is the World Health Organization of mental health. And it hasn't been renewed for a few years, but I think it is still valid. But I think that mental health is also subjective because it's quite an individual thing. Let me start with me, Andrea. For me, mental health is also about making choices, having a choice. If you have options in life, for me, that would be my idea of mental health. So the World Health Organization definition plus having choices in life, the ability to make choices in life is my definition of mental health. Throughout the years that I've worked with a lot of people who have major depressive disorder, to be able to get out of bed, Andrea, that's a good day. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Never mind the working and contributing to the community, but the fact that they can get out of bed, hit the shower, take the kids to school, something basic like that, that's good mental health for them. So it is quite subjective, but overall, the World Health Organization states that good mental health is your ability to cope with life stresses, work productively, and contribute to your community.
I love that you
Yeah.
started with the fact that it starts with getting out of bed, with managing ourselves, and with the
Mm,
personal mental health, right? Because
yes.
everything else couldn't exist without being right on your own level, whether your
Exactly.
mental health is right or not. And we were having a talk with Afzan, and I know that you partnered up with Afzan, yes, and you are leading an
Yes.
amazing organization already together. And it's so good to see that there is someone who is spreading awareness about this topic.
Mm.
Mental health at the workplace. Well, we could talk a lot about this, from stressing days for a lot of too much work, from overworking to
Yeah.
demanding bosses to discrimination. There is so much that can pressure people at the workplace. But where would we start?
So much.
Why
So
do we
much.
need it?
Okay, I think there's a second part to there's a second bit to your first question which I didn't answer or forgot to answer. So that's the definition of mental health and why is it important? That was the second part of your question,
Yes.
right? Why is it important? It is very important because for me, Andrea, I've been a psychiatric nurse since 1997. So 97, 2022, not good at maths. Well, that's over 20 years. So there's a lot of years. And for me, if you don't have mental health, there is no health really. You can be, you can be a size 0, you can be fit, you can run a marathon, but if you don't have mental health, then what's the point? So where I come from, I see the two as linking together. So as a nurse, we see when we treat people. There's some words that are quite old fashioned, but I'll still use. I don't like the word normal. I don't like that word normal. I don't
What is
like that word.
normal, right?
Yeah, we don't do that. And then, so if you don't have mental health, I say, then there's no point. There is no health without mental health. So it is very important, and because it connects, it's a basis of your physical health, I think, and it's interlinked together. So when I treat people, I look at their stuff, at their self holistically. Yeah. So it's very important to go through the mental health first, and then everything else follows. Yeah, that's my take on this. That's why I think it's very important, Andrea.
Healthy inside out, right?
Mm,
I'm
that's
with you
right.
as a dancer, always like healthy body,
Yeah,
healthy mind, healthy
yeah.
spirit. It's just the basics of life.
Yeah, yeah, it's very important. Recently, I interviewed a Muay Thai fighter, and she's a champion fighter, and she said all her losses, which are few and far between, is because she's not good up here.
Mm. Mhm.
She said, I eat well, I eat nutritiously, I have a nutritionist, a dietitian, I do the exercise, I work out, I put my body in shape. But if I'm not good in here, that's how I lose. And isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that
Yeah.
she lost the match because she said, in her own words, she's not good up here mentally.
Yeah, I think many of the sports champions, they
Mm,
already for a while now, they have psychologists and counselors helping them to get to the best shape before the
exactly,
competitions. Yeah, it was not like
exactly.
this in the past, but nowadays it's happening, right?
Oh my God, those people, those the top-notch athletes, they have sports psychologists, they have their personal psychologist, and their coach, and then the rest, their entourage. Yeah, so you will have to work here first before everything else, I think.
Let's work it, work it. Let's work our mental health and our brain. So where does it start, especially at the workplace?
Uh-huh.
What can people do? What can employers do so that there is a healthy mental health environment at the workplace?
Oh my God, that's a big question. What can't they do? Yeah, I think it's very important. When I do my courses, when I teach organizations, there are two levels. So at the organizational level, there's a lot an employer can do. For example, you can look at your policies and procedures. You can offer resources, you can offer something called employee assistance program, and you can look at your managers, you can train your managers and raise awareness. There's lots and lots that people can do. A few last year somebody phoned me and said, can I offer a mental health training or something called employee assistance program, whereby they refer their employees to a therapist. And I said, yeah, sure, I can. And I said, why? What's happened? She said one of the employees had major depressive disorder, and the company sent a basket of fruits. I said, "What? Are you kidding me? A basket of fruits? How is that going to make her feel better?" And oh my God, then I got so worked up. I got so livid because this is my friend and she's like in HR. I said, how are you going to make her feel better? A basket. I said, "Harry, I'm sorry. We didn't know what to do.
Oh
We
my
didn't know
God.
what, literally, they didn't know what to do." So, okay, here's a basket of fruits, and you're on medical leave, and okay, hope you're feeling better. So there, and they're not alone,
Such a big metaphor there. I mean, the situation is really like crazy.
No, I'm not kidding. This is true. This is a true story. They didn't know what to do. So, so therein lies the gap. But progressive employers now, they are slowly, some countries are picking up jumping on a bandwagon to educate their employees about mental health issues. So what I do is I provide training. As an organization, you can do lots and lots. But I think the first step for any organization to start any kind of initiative is to do a pulse survey. This is quite
Mhm,
technical.
mhm.
So a pulse survey is, if you want to start any program, it's good to know what your employees think. So start a little survey. It's called pulse survey. So it's not a full survey. So it's just to give you an idea of what people want. Because there's no point me giving you stuff that you don't need. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's good to have run a survey to ascertain what your employees need and want for their mental health. For example, do they like to run a mental health program? Do they like to have some training? And after you've done that survey, data, that data that you have in front of you will inform you on what you need to do, basically. And from there, what it would be a good idea is to perhaps form a small team of people and call them heroes, mental health champions, mental health heroes, a small group of people from different departments of an organization to start the initiative. And of course, you need to go to your CFO, your chief financial officer, or your CEO and get some funding. You get money because no money, no
No,
honey,
me. So
no
true.
program.
So, dear
Yeah.
leaders at organizations, here we have the first few steps for you. So, number one, educate yourself about mental health, what you
Mm-hmm.
can do, what does it mean. Step number two, get some data, so do some research and pause and
Exactly.
check the situation. Number three, form a champion squad team, a mental health team, and then educate them, maybe you even certify them, and then also go and get funding because as you said, no money, no honey, so we need the
Yes.
support and you need to put up all the resources. So amazing action step already. So okay, what's next? We have a team up.
You're a fast learner, Andrea.
Yeah, I
I
have to
like
make notes.
I like that word, squad team. I do like that word. Yeah, squad.
Yeah,
Because sometimes
it's
some
yours.
organizations.
Please feel free to use it.
Fantastic squad team. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because some organizations call themselves mental health champions and things like that. So with the HR, I'm also HR trained, by the way. So with HR, sometimes when you run programs, it's good to have data. So your whatever you do is data supported, right? So think of it as two levels. Two levels. So at the organizational level, maybe you want to look at your policies and procedures. Some countries, like in Australia, they are advocating a 4-day week.
Mm,
That means
mhm.
today, Friday, you're already hitting the beach. You're looking at you're
That's great.
looking at 4-day week work rather than a 5-day week work. So you may want to look at your policies and procedures like that. You may want to look at how you're going to include diversity and inclusivity. When we were looking at recruitment, some progressive companies are wanting to embrace diversity, because if you have a diverse workforce, right, different races, different abilities, disabilities, you have different point of view, and your organization will thrive because all these people will bring in their skills and their experience and their knowledge and share with you and make the company grow. So if you want to look at diversity, you may also want to look at employing people with mental health, and therein there and realize the challenge, yeah, of employing people with mental health issues, because unfortunately, there is still the stigma, and that's a big thing. Yeah, the stigma surrounding mental health is the number one barrier where people don't seek help. And I think I don't remember statistics, I have to write it down, but there was one survey done. I think more than half of the participants who were interviewed, they did not want to tell their managers that they have mental health issues, because they were afraid of losing their job. So we need to kind of break that kind of stigma, to try and employ people with mental health issues, because work is good for people with mental health issues. Work is actually good, but there's also the dark side of work. So talking about the dark side of work, the World Health Organization has given us like 10 categories on the risk factors, how work can be bad for you, how work can be bad for you. And there are lots and lots, like, for example, I give you an example: long hours, right? Working like 12-hour shift, 14-hour shifts. There is a research sometime back, like trainee doctors in England, when they were serving their housemanship, when they have a shift of trainee doctors on duty, there were more deaths than they are when these trainee doctors are off duty. Why? Because they work long hours, they not necessarily make good decisions, and they can make mistakes. So working long hours. So as a company, you want to look at all of this, your work hours, supplying people with the necessary equipment. Do you remember COVID days? Some hospitals, they don't have, I don't want to name names, some hospitals don't have enough oxygen tanks. Nurses and doctors don't have the correct or enough personal protection equipment. So all of these things, lack of equipment, working long hours, all of these things can be changed. The HR people, the powers that be, can look at their policy and procedures and make the necessary changes at policy level. And that's just a tip of the iceberg. And that's the organizational level, right? And you can run programs. I know a big hotel chain group, they run a program called The Biggest Losers. So The Biggest Losers is about people who are on the side of on the heavier side. So they run a program whereby they give you a reward if you exercise, if you try and lose weight, that kind of thing. So there are various initiatives, lots and lots and lots of initiatives out there that as an organization can implement to help their employees, because it is worth the investment. If you take care of your employees' mental health, they will be more productive, they will stay loyal, and you will bump up your EVP. EVP is your employee value proposition. It means you as a company, what have you got to offer me? Why should I work for you? So you have these big companies like I don't know, Netflix or Google. They really, really take care of their employees, and they are like the employers of choice. Everybody. I heard somewhere that Google has about 2 million applications a month, because
Yes.
it's so
The
good.
amazing offices and the ping pong rooms and everything what they set
Exactly.
up. there, and just to
Exactly.
entertain them a little bit, to keep them also feeling like home. And yes, it's an important thing that we are enjoying the work, and it's not like working 14, 15, 16 hours and then going home and just sleeping and then starting again, because that can
Yeah.
be also deteriorating for people. So amazing
Yeah.
tips here. I love your tips. And as a question around the end of the talk, what do you think? Does this start bottom up or top to bottom? Where should this start in an organization, a change like this, to put mental health as first?
So it's a good question. I think it should start from top down. A good example in Singapore, the MON, the Health Promotion Board, and the tripartite, the three organizations, the union, the Ministry of Manpower, and another one, I don't know what. It's like a conglomeration of companies, tripartite. They have, in collaboration with the Health Promotion Board, they have rolled out mental health courses, mental health webinars, and companies can come in. They invite companies, or they encourage companies to listen, for their employees to listen to webinars, because I'm one of the trainers. That's how I know. So this is the initiative from the government, from the Health Promotion Board, to encourage people to be more aware, because they believe that if you are aware, then there's the stigma won't be there. So that's a good start. That's a jumping off point. Because there's a lot of misconceptions about mental health, that if you have a mental health issue, then you are violent, or you're aggressive, or you are unproductive. That is so not true. So not true. you know
Love it. Thank you so much, Hery, for the sharing. And please tell us a little bit about Recover Now, and where can people reach out for you, and what are the services that you provide?
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. Okay, we Recover Now is a partnership. I'm a throughout the years, my career has evolved to that of a corporate trainer in mental health, concentrating at the workforce, because most of our adult lives we are at work. So, where to promote this mental health, where to educate people at work. Yeah, because the school, they have their own counselors, the university, they have those counselors. So that's where I want to aim. The target group will be the working population. So what we do is we provide mental health training, mental health awareness. It's a full day program, and we also do retreats, for a group of people, individual or a group of people from one company. We do it in the beautiful island of Langkawi, and whereby we provide like a resilience workshop, a coping skills workshop, whereby I will impart my years of knowledge to you on how to become resilient mentally, that kind of thing. So we provide that. We provide training basically, and also something called employee assistance program, whereby we see people on a one-to-one basis. So again, the therapy, and it's not a good word, therapy, counseling type thing. But my approach is more cognitive, in nature. And when you come to me, you need to set your own goals, Andrea. So when you come to me, what is it that you want to achieve? I do not want to turn people into a therapy junkie. Have you heard of people going to therapy for years and years and years?
Yep.
Why? Why? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. So, that's what I call therapy junkie.
I call it
And
drop feeding, because sometimes it happens in every coaching industry, even in dancing, that people are drop feeding the knowledge and keeping
mm,
the mentees or the people on an easy level, but they never change. They just keep like on the same level, and they get a lot of continuous money, but the patient is not improving, right?
I don't like that. That's unethical. Because for me, you need to, what is it that you want? we set your own goal, and then I will help you. I will show you the way. I wouldn't say I'm an expert. There are many, not psychiatrists, therapies, there are many out there. But I will make the sessions as short, maybe 3 or 4 sessions, and then we try and sort it out like that. So with me, it's not going to be years and years and years, because I don't find that ethical at all.
Amazing
So
approach. Thank you so much, Hery, for giving us all this awareness, for doing the job that you do, and for starting the day with the roosters from your hometown. I just really love this session. Thank you
thank you
so
for
much.
that.
I see Izabela in the studio, so I will bring her up. And in the meantime, I will say goodbye to you and have an amazing day. And thank you so much for doing the interview and for supporting the people who are watching us. Thank you, Hery.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, switching in the studio, we have another expert coming up soon. I think that was an amazing start of the day with so happy and fulfilled, joyful interview. I'm just still under the effect of this beautiful, happy person just left us. So we are having Izabela here. We are jumping countries from Malaysia. We are jumping to the USA, and this is a long journey, but internet and digital makes it possible to just travel all around the world. So let's see, Izabela, I'm bringing you up to the stream. And here we go. Hi, Izabela. How are you today?
Fantastic. I totally enjoyed what Hery was sharing, and it's just so beautiful how it's going to complement what we will be talking about next.
I'm super happy to have you here. Let me change the banner so that you have also your topic up. And until I'm doing it, introduce yourself a little bit to our audience so that they can also get to know you.
Sure. I'm fellow European as Andrea, and I'm transplanted to US, and she chose to go in Asia. So we're definitely covering large parts of the world. My circumstances were a little bit different, and I came to US as a refugee after collapse of former Yugoslavia, and then I had opportunity to rebuild and build my life independently in such a beautiful way that I am right now, obviously, not only having my own company, podcast, and a lot of shared vision with Andrea in terms of empowering people around the globe. I had a privilege to work with people from over 120 countries. I absolutely love cultures, food, music, and of course, dance.
Yes, we connected on this, I remember, and I am still waiting for the time when we will go out and do it together. We have many speakers who were like, okay, Andrea, next time we meet, we will dance. So I have a lot of people on my bucket list to go through, and I'm happy to do it with you also. Izabela, you are doing so many amazing things, and you are always humble. But if you just look for Izabela Lundberg on LinkedIn, you will see a lot of achievements and all the things that she's doing all around the world, supporting so many similar backgrounds like her, supporting the journey, standing up for people, and also helping leaders to create a legacy. So that's why we are here today. Our topic is legacy leaders and your approach to leadership. So how would you define leadership for yourself from your perspective as a first question?
I love that question because that means very different things to different people. For leaders, in my opinion, is opportunity to demonstrate who we are on daily basis consistently and reflect our values, what we stand for, what's important to us, and be great role models and examples for others by showing what's possible. Stepping away of those cookie cutter approaches and confinements and spreading our wings and showing up with our best intentions, with our best talents to make a positive impact.
I love the letting them shine part, like letting them do their own part, because many leaders are micromanaging even still now in 2022. And it has been such a shift in leadership that people let the individual come out. And I think it's a great approach. What do you think about that, to let the individuals try the things first and to step back as a leader?
I love that approach because we don't know what our talent specific organization is capable of doing. And by giving them chance and opportunity, they might be surprised in themselves as well, everybody around. And when people are let to shine and also given space to grow, right? And space to grow into, then we might be surprised to see. When you mention about leaders that are micromanagers, to me, that is such a huge distinction. And this is something that we need to fix. We can't call them leaders. They're managers with authority and opportunity to make a change, but they don't have skill set of the leader to do so. So what they do know, it's just how to manage, how to bark the orders, and how to achieve specific results, or how to reprimand, or whatever might be the scenario. But they do not know how to connect, how to communicate, and also how to create future leaders that are following because of the growth and positive impact that are creating. Huge difference.
Yeah, I believe that was a great point that you said. Managers and leaders, that they are not the same. It's not the same approach, and we definitely have to make a difference here between the two types of leadership. And about this, like digging a bit deeper, like what do you think is the benefit if you are quitting micromanaging and you are starting to become a real leader with a broader approach, with a wider perspective?
I will use you as an example, Andrea. For example, you did not study leadership. And the first time when I met and talked to you, just the way you carry yourself, your professionalism, your standards, your boundaries, the way you also shared the vision, the way you infectiously attracted me to your vision, that not only I want to support you, but I want to explore ways to help to grow and be part of this amazing hub and amazing environment that you're creating. So that to me, it's been amazing demonstration what leadership is, regardless of age, regardless of education, and regardless of background. So if you can do that and also follow through and just include others, like you're doing so beautifully around the world with different dialects, with different accents, with different backgrounds, and finding opportunity for those people for their voices to be heard, that is tremendous. That's what leadership actually in action looks like. And for everybody watching and listening, that's how you create actually legacy, because it's not what Andrea is going to leave when she dies and who is going to put her name on the building. That's not what we're talking about. It's about living at this moment and breeding those beautiful values and enhancing the thinking and capacity of others as a result, and also contributing, because that contribution is so infectious, it's positive, and brings everybody else together. And that's what's a leadership, and specifically this legacy leadership, all about.
Well, I thank you so much. I'm not so good in taking compliments, but I'm really, really thanking for you. I have to practice this part. I'm trying my best, not blushing and all this, but really, really thank you. I appreciate your words, Izabela. And we have so much in common, and we have so much to do. I think if all of us imagine all the 400 speakers who are here, just do one little thing for anyone else around the world, I think we can create real change. So that's what is moving me. That is the drive behind. And I think that's also the benefit, right? Because when you are a leader, you can create such a powerful network that you can create a change. Alone, we are very small, right? But we have this power pack, and then everything can accelerate.
And you already accelerating, and I'm going to use again you as an example. So because everybody knows you and everybody's associated, affiliated, and as a result, because of all this beautiful relationship connection, it's about energy, about stepping up, shining like a beautiful beacon of the light, and as a result, attracting beautiful people. The flock can want to be involved, right? And that's how you create a ripple effect. When you started this 3 years ago, and how much you had a vision, compassion, and desire, and you didn't have to. I know how much takes sacrifice, and that's the other piece that people don't see it. All of those efforts require so much sacrifice. She could do many different things, but she, again, has that unfulfilled desire. So now she put that desire in action. So she's living her legacy. And then she took it ownership. Now she's leading with that legacy. So those two prerequisites are fundamental, ultimately down the road, to leave phenomenal legacy. And why is that important? Why we're seeing this? We're seeing this everywhere because that ripple effect is so much bigger in year 3. And I can't even imagine what ripple effect she will be creating 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And why I'm saying this, when you see things working, when you bring in people together, and when you create an opportunity for collaboration, inclusion, and sense of belonging. Right now, more of us want to belong somewhere where we feel good, when we feel accepted, right? So that is where you truly then create, and you know that you're creating something amazing, and you definitely do that, Andrea.
Thank you so much again. And I will turn back the question because I'm really, really excited about your story as a leader and your legacy leadership that you created for yourself. And coming from different backgrounds, like I moved to Asia, I had to recreate myself somewhat. I'm also moving countries, and you have been also someone moving countries, and it's part of your story. But I would love to hear that story a little bit about you and your story and your legacy story.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna start something with beautiful early childhood vision, growing up in Europe, and curiosity really about history and geography, and the undying desire to discover the world. And look at us, we've traveled around the globe in less than 15 minutes to such a different places due to technology that we have. But at that time, there were history, the maps, and everything else. And obviously, fast forwarding that undying desire, fortunately, horrible circumstances brought completely different rewards. Loss of family, loss of country, loss of identity, loss of so much that I used the pain as a fuel without even knowing what I was doing. Otherwise, will despair and loss just completely shatter my optimistic personality, will shatter my curiosity and desire to learn about the world, and absolutely most definitely about people. And as a result, actually what a couple of very amazing people and helped me over the time to recognize how big champion of people I am, as you, Andrea, and to really continue to champion for the people, not only under horrible circumstances, but under every scenario. Because what I recognize very quickly through my journey, living in 4 countries, in addition to 5th for my domicile, on my own before turning 19th birthday, and then proving myself under horrible circumstances that I'm worthy of permanent residence in the United States to come here as a refugee. And then starting from scratch and feeling, okay, at least I don't have to move and I don't have to worry if I'm going to be deported, without even understanding why I'm not wanted. Because I'm like, I'm not criminal. I learned the languages. English is my 6th language. I contribute in every country I lived in as a lawful citizen would. And I, matter of fact, work very, very hard, and through process, not only learning the culture, the languages, connections, relationship, I always found a way to help others, which also helped me to heal, helped me to self-discover in a new way and find my own identity. And when I came to United States, helping others initially, because I actually entered the corporate America, but that was asked because of my linguistical background and skill set, as well my cross-cultural background. And we talk about late 90s, early 2000. At that time, guys, in specifically United States, was no much of diversity and inclusion talks. I was actually pioneering that. I was working with University of Denver, where later on I got my master, to allow me actually to teach courses and curricula, fill the gap, because at that time was no any education and prerequisites around how to even approach in legal systems, schools, in education, in healthcare, in mental health, or in business, around this high level of diversity, cultural, linguistical barriers, and so many challenges and issues that we still face to this day, but with less margin than what was early on at that time. And that journey allowed me to understand how business works in United States, in capitalistic system, how nonprofits and NGOs work and what that's that all about, and then how government works and a government entity gave me perspective and depth and breadth and width in such a short period of time, which so much that I feel like parallel, I lived many different lives. And the reason I'm sharing this, because things are not linear. That just because usually happens certain way for some people doesn't mean they're going bad for you. And if they're happening in different order, or also if they're happening in parallel. And it's so interesting because in one day you get opportunity to influence C-suite executives and talk about culture and talk about champion for people and their talent in order to create champion culture and environment, and ultimately ripple effect globally, because most of these companies are global and they have a global reach, right? Or you have a situations when you're in the same time helping someone to navigate that is new to the country, issues they're seeing, and then seeing the ripple effect, how bad choices or good choices not only can impact their life, but impact every whole system around by lack of access of information or education. So what I'm trying to say is my story as a survivor, as a genocide, torture, war trauma survivor, and work with other genocide survivors and war trauma, human trafficking, rape victims was also the most priceless education I ever had. Was something that I put all my heart and soul. And what I learned for that decade or so in United States, just solely running nonprofit organization for torture rehabilitation from different genders, from different age groups, gave me the most priceless education. You can't put a price tag on. That no master's degree could do it, or no other exposure could do it, because how much we can really learn from each other and each experiences we have.
Beautiful points here, amazing story, and it's just always proves me every single year I meet so many empowering stories, and it just proves me, and I hope it proves also to the audience, that nothing is impossible, and everyone can come out of very sad situations, hard situations. It's just a willingness to open up your eyes and stand up and say, okay, I will do this. I will do this for myself, for my legacy, for my family, find a good enough reason and stand up and fight for it. Because at the end, no one else will fight for it, right? We can help support, but the original will of making it is coming from inside, right?
Absolutely. And things are changing. And I just wanted for everyone to say, not to be gloom and doom. It's beautiful that we have this community where it's beautiful trust and tapestry of love and compassion and kindness and willingness to be vulnerable, and actually environment that we feel safe to share. That is huge, right? So it's no bullying, no harassment, no judgment. And it's a gorgeous way to learn from another. And I think that's also extremely important to also think about it, how much, again, creating that sense of belonging for someone and that beautiful showing up with in the beautiful positive light can truly sometimes make or break someone's life today, because a lot of people are not doing that well, not because just economy or mental health issues, but we deal with never most complex problems in the modern time, and we have to be super cognizant and supportive one another, because through these times the true leaders rise, right? And they're true champions, not only for themselves but for everybody else around them.
We have an amazing comment here from Jack. Izabela, you are very resourceful. I was teaching the refugee center in Kiev some time back, and I did with all my heart. So these little things like Jack is doing, it's just making the world a better place, right?
That is beautiful. And honestly, if he thinks that there was just a small thing, the ripple effect of those people, because one of the things that is missing the most right now, because people are lonely. But why we're lonely? Because we're shielding, protecting our emotions. What are we shielding the most? We're shielding our hearts. But when we open our hearts, even we get maybe stabbed or hurt, whatever might be the case, forget that. But just think about how many lives, not only we touched, but how many of those lives we helped. And as a result, they made a better choices, decisions, and we influence something beautiful to come to fruition as a result. So your ripple effect is tremendous for the work you did. Kudos.
That's it, Jack. This is your message from Izabela. Keep on doing it, and we love you, and just do what you do for yourself and for others. I think that's important. And Izabela, what are the achievements that you are proud of? Because you are so humble, but I really know that you do so many things. So tell us 2 or 3 achievements that you are the most proud of today.
Oh my goodness. One achievement actually I just received, and I wanted to share from a couple of reasons. It's a Women's of Heart Award that started a few years back, and they have this big, huge ceremony in London in a gala event, red carpet, amazing thing happening this Sunday, actually, on the 12th. And I was nominated by people that I didn't even knew about it. Mm-hmm. And then I'm receiving this email and surprise to me. And then this whole information about this group of people and dignitaries and some amazing names associated with that. And my jaw just dropped, because this is what I want to share with you, what I learned. We're doing a lot of work. Sometimes just the nature how human works, we don't know who is watching. We don't know who is listening. We don't know who is learning from us. We don't necessarily get immediate feedback and response. But trust me, people are paying attention, they're watching, and they're listening. And that is the living proof. And to me, that is huge award, because it's about impact. It's not how many followers I have. It's not how much I influence and be an influencer, which Andrea knows what I'm talking about. It's about impact that we're creating collectively, right? And to me, to have a Women's Heart Award, because it's recognizing specifically women that lead with the heart and changing the landscape and supporting other women. Doesn't mean that we're not supporting you guys. Come on, we're supporting you. But we know also traditionally how challenging and difficult it is for women to support the woman. I have to say that was the most beautiful moment for me to not only accept it, but also to sink in, to say, with everything that is going on, this is the biggest award, because in a sense, you know, I'm accepted for what I stand for. I'm not accepted because I'm photo model or because I'm whatever, you know what I mean? But it's truly a reflection of what I'm trying to do. Lead with a heart, with compassion and kindness, and of course, help people. And then the other awards, you know, it's just one of the awards I have to say, it's back to torture rehabilitation era. I had amazing, close to 70 years old Sufi master. So everybody that knows Sufism, they know that they love to dance. And this is a beautiful story for Andrea.
I just reading a Sufism book about Sufism.
Fantastic. So typically, historically, people that get attacked, tortured, or prosecuted, they're not criminals, but they're usually educators, community leaders, and people actually that have tremendous respect and influence in their communities. And a lot of times it doesn't work very well with governments or people who want to do corruptive stuff and bribe, etc. Right? So we see historically this happening for centuries, and we're seeing more than ever right now. This particular Sufi master was severely tortured, burned. There was a horrific things that happened to him. And the fact that he comes from that particular background from Middle East, and the fact that he shared only with me profoundly his story over the period of time that I work with him. And despite male, female, white, Middle Eastern cultures, all of that showed also how profoundly we connected. And I remember we had this torture rehabilitation. You have a torture, June 27th or 26th, I believe, 26th, it's International Day Against Torture. And I will never forget that. We'll put always events, and I will always use survivors to come, to speak, to dance, to do this. And I will never forget that the biggest compliment he gave me, and to me, that's the biggest award, as a spiritual leader, who said, Izabela, you helped me and help others to restore our dreams. I was stunned that sometimes, again, things we don't feel that we have such an impact and reach, but to have that opportunity and that level of feedback to tell us how much we change, even that one life, meant so much to me, because I had such a strong, high respect for him, who he was, his spirituality, his also tribe, and also masses that knew and how much he was loved and respected. And that one of those spiritual tribal leaders saw me as a girl who helped to restore even his dream. I think that was the biggest reward in my book, I have to say, Andrea.
I think always these little stories, these stories, they are meaning more. It's the same that we were talking about, the influential, being an influencer, how fake it can be, and how today focusing on being big on social media doesn't mean anything compared to the thing when you are helping people on the field in life to survive and to be better, to shine and to put them forward. I think that's the thing that people should check in with themselves, whether they are really doing things or they are just doing it for the show on social media and posting about it, and in the backstage no walk is done. There is no walking the talk.
Yes, because it requires the depth, and requires the knowledge, it requires the discipline, and requires consistency, and it requires substance. Right now, we'll live in a world where it's not anymore about quality, it's just about quantity. And we have to know where do we fit and what's important. And this is what I always say. As a result, when we do create impact, you're going to automatically get influence and followers, guys. But if you consciously just focus on followers and this vanity stuff, that is going to never give you a chance to impact people in the way you truly are capable with your talents and what you bring to the table. And Andrea is a living example again on that, because I love her visuals. I love her posts. I love how she is also showing what she believes in and how much she integrates dance and creativity. And that is where all the beautiful ideas comes, because we don't do that enough. We're not allowing in business creativity and opportunity, because from there, it not only comes ideas, but comes most important solutions. So I would encourage you, be more creative, be more daring, and you'll be amazed what are you going to be able to create.
I love this. And let's at the end just tell a little bit for people who are in similar situation like you or like me, changing countries, getting into a totally different culture, dealing with adaptation, trying to find our new ways, trying to recreate who we were before, or as you said, restore our own life. What are the basic steps? What are the things that people can do right from the beginning to make it a bit smoother, a bit better, a bit easier?
I would say ask for help. Don't be stubborn, don't be too prideful, but be selective. Who do you ask and what kind of help you're asking? And what I mean with that, ask first of all for advice, but then also ask for help. Andrea, I'm asking you for help. I really don't know how to navigate this. Seems like this comes easy to you. I need to do this because whatever. And then let her decide, depending on relationship or whoever it is in your corner, what they think you need to do or how you should do it. When we ask for advice, when we're humble, when we're genuine, how we approach that person or group, you will be amazed how many people genuinely want to help. I wish I grew up in a culture when was not much some mentorship support. I mean, was for the immediate family and friends, but outside I really didn't feel like the same rule applied. And I did not ask for help. I made some things much more challenging than I maybe needed to. And maybe I struggle, and I know that those struggles made me stronger. And I'm not saying I did a bad things, but I also now realize in hindsight, I wish I was also as great advocate for myself as I was great advocate for others. Because we are all humans. It's so easier to ask for someone else, but it's much more difficult to ask for ourselves, right? Soon you master that. That is the same, that should not be differentiated. And even if it's a sense of fear and anxiety about it, still do more you practice. You're going to be your biggest champion. You're going to be your biggest cheerleader, and you're going to progress and make things smoother, as Andrea pointed out, and make it things much faster, because you never know who might have a new job. You never know who might have a opening in different parts of the world, or exactly something you want to do, or who is willing to collaborate. You never know unless you step and expanding and your network, unless you also talk to people, unless you are vulnerable and honest, so that they feel like they connected and they feel true desire to help you. And the best thing I would also say is don't be just someone who is asking and not having opportunity to reciprocate, right? And also find the ways when you ask to be very masterful in that. Learn how to ask, and also learn how to receive and help others as well in the process. Don't hide information. Don't feel like this is competition. I was always uber generous. I didn't care if everybody competed or could copy me. I wanted to help others just because I knew how painful it was to do, for most part, initially by myself.
So important, putting ourselves into other people's shoes. It always reminds me when we are dancing, and I told you, I imagine like when you are dancing tango, it's like leaving this book open, leaving the possibility of getting to know the other person open, trying to change perspectives from my own perspective to another person's perspective. It's just so beautiful when you try to experiment it and try to do it on your own or with a group, or just try to step on both sides of the equitation, right?
Yes, and ask questions. Honestly, before we even ask, let's ask questions. Let's take a genuine curiosity. How is everything going with you, Andrea? How is everything going with Yagatish Savari? I hope I pronounced your name correctly. or how is everything going? And then just listen. When we also take genuine interest in others, and that's always should be our first approach, from those conversation, natural fits, relationship, alignment, things that we can either offer or connect or share, and things that they possibly could do will just naturally happen. If we always come just what's in there for me, then we'll repel people. But if we also come with serving, with opportunities, with open heart and mind, then we create this amazing, beautiful dance, as exactly Andrea said, to really be fluid and to take us places in a journey we never expected that we can get there. And how can we get there?
Lovely conversation. I always love our conversations, and thank you so much for being here for already many years and supporting the initiative and just being on board and being who you are authentically and transparently. I just love it about you, Izabela. And as a last note, where can people reach out to you? What are the questions that you're helping them with? Tell us a little bit about this part.
Thank you again, and likewise, Andrea. And I will always be there to support you. So I just want to also say, ladies, wherever you find the value, find the ways also to tell how much you appreciate people and also support them as well. You can always find me on LinkedIn. That is one of the best platforms. Reason why I'm the most active there, and it's also the most trusted social media. I do have a website and links and information how you can connect with me as well. And I'm also creating space for a community that is affected by not only mental health issues and challenges, but also community by creating the dialogues for transforming current state that we're in that is affecting us in a working environment as well in personal life. So because those two things are not disconnected, right? They are the same. And how you can lead confidently, not only with resilience and strength and all of those things that we hear, all those buzzwords, but ultimately, how do we also can create working environments, corporations and organizations where you feel like you're champion, treated as a one, and belong in the culture that champions you and your success. So for organizations, for community members, all of above, because right now we're going through major transformation, and that's the kind of focus that I'm putting on right now.
Perfect. Thank you so much for describing and telling us where we can reach you. And also don't forget, if you follow Izabela on LinkedIn, she has a Legacy Leader show and discussions and interviews with so many amazing people. So it's worth to watch it back and check all this and learn from it. That's the thing that we concluded in the Personal Development Week, that there is learning, there is a lot of knowledge, but then you have to apply this knowledge and implement it in your life so that you can see the transformation, and that's where the change will start. So thank you so much, Izabela, for being here today, and I wish you an amazing day in the US, and we are continuing our day here at GES.
Thank you for having me. Massive success and ongoing success to the remainder of the EGS. And I just want to say thank you so much for having me again with you. Pleasure always.
Thank you, Izabela. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So having fun is also part of the GES, guys. We will have a little break, but before we go there, I want to show you what you can do in the GES universe, in this new hub and this new community with heartfelt, high-integrity people and change makers from all around the world. If you would like to participate, we have a game. I will just put up the banner very quickly. So right away, you can go to this link and then you can start the game. We are putting up questions every single Friday and Saturday, new 5 questions that you can answer. And at the last weekend of the summit on the 27th of November, we will announce the winners. We have already more than 40 people playing with us, and the leaderboard is starting to form. I'm so excited to see who will be on the top at the beginning and the end of the summit. So this is one thing. Please take the opportunity, go to www.gvt.la and then search for GES2022, and then you can play with us and do this quiz sponsored by Giants and Titans and Shiv. And thank you so much, Shiv, for doing this for us. On the other note, we have an amazing program today. So on the website, if you go to our website, let me also open it for you and show it for you so that we can all be on the same page. I will share my screen to tell you what's going on this weekend and what are the things that you can see. So basically, let me bring it up next to me. Here you go. And on the website, I always update and make it as easy for you to access the summit as possible. But you go to the menu page, and under the programs, you can see the big calendar here. Let me just close the messaging. So you have a calendar here, and the calendar will tell you what are the events coming up. You can see that we have a little break from 11:30, and we will come back around 3 p.m. Malaysia time, which will be morning for Europe. And you can also join us. You have Treat Your Interview as a First Date with Kim Araman. We will have Sustainable Leadership with Supriya Sharma. We will have Vanita here with Rediscovering Me, a new day every day. Then we have Transform to Fit, Moving with Trends with Mr. Nang, the Sungai Wang Plaza's board member, who is leading now the change in Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur. And we had our kickoff, the personal kickoff for the summit there with his sponsorship. And then we have Deconstructing the Pathway to Leadership with Yuki, who is part of the Women in Tech Malaysia, and she will talk about her story. Then we have Managerial Styles, Give Space for Failures with Rashmi from Leaderonomics. And we have also an evening session coming up with Amplify Your Influence with Judith. And we have I'm a Woman of Inspiration with Ashley. Then we have Vulnerability in Leadership with Carla Shaw-Watkins. We have Compassion, Caring Leaders with Jürgen Wiebeck. And then we have our first panel this weekend, which will be about the future of leadership. So amazing program, a lot of lining up interviews. You can just click on the different sessions in this calendar, right? Let me make it bigger so that you can see it a bit better. So whenever you go on the website, you see this calendar, you click on, for example, the next session, Treat Your Interview as a First Date. And then straight away here, you will see the YouTube link when you can watch us, and also the Facebook link, the LinkedIn link, and also availability for the networking. Because another thing that is happening just this weekend is a networking quiz night, also sponsored by Giants and Titans. And we tried it several times, and everyone is always enjoying Shiv's amazing networking sessions. So you will enter, we will be changing connections, and we will be getting to know each other. And in the meantime, we will play a quiz provided by Giants and Titans and this amazing initiative that she was leading. So a lot of things are happening. If you are a bootcamp participant, or if you want to jump in and join the 5 bootcamps masterclasses that are still left at the 3 more weeks that we are coming up, you can also upgrade for a bootcamp. All your contributions will go to support the speakers who are doing the 2 hours masterclasses. And this is the way how we empower others. And this is the way how we share knowledge. And we are happy if you can contribute and sponsor this initiative. So, guys, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We learned a lot about mental health at work with Hery. And we also had an amazing, impactful session with Izabela from the US. So I hope you enjoyed it. And we will be back Malaysia time, 3 p.m. today after the break. Use the break to play. You have the link below here. And don't forget, you can always reach out to us if you would like to partner with us, if you would like to sponsor us, or if you would like to just jump on board as a speaker, and if you would like to be part of this initiative, which is really growing. And I see many, many opportunities for the future. So have an awesome day. Never forget, it's always how you approach the problems in front of you. And I would also call them not even problems, but tasks, challenging tasks. Imagine like a sport event when you have to jump around and go through a road or a journey. And the thing is that you will always have the swing to jump. You just have to believe in it, that you have the power to jump that obstacle. And if you need help, if you need accountability partners, if you need a supporting community, if you want to belong somewhere where you get this inspiration, then feel free to join the Impact Hubbers, the community of the summit and the Global Empowerment Hub. And we are welcoming you to join our summits coming up every single year. Year after year, with more than 100 speakers, this year 125, who are volunteering to empower others. So thank you so much, guys. Wish you all the best, and see you 3 p.m. Singapore time this afternoon for morning for Europe and Africa. And we will have a great time together. Let's continue to empower. 3 more weeks to go. Already the two first week were amazing. So if you want to rewatch them, you can rewatch the personal development and the business growth weekends. I organized them in separate folders on YouTube. So only what you have to do is just go out and watch them one by one. And then still you can comment on it, and we will get back to you with some feedback. So enjoy your day, have a beautiful lunchtime and a good start of your week and your days and the weekends. And then let's see each other very, very soon. Bye, guys.